Right, I'm going to do a couple of Wood Elf videos here. This first one is 1000 TV. Let me just get some skills up so you can see. The build that I've gone for is 2 War Dancers, 3 Catchers, and the rest alignment. I've got 1 reroll, and I'm facing Eldarin and his Necro team. He's gone for the 2 reroll, 2 Wolf build. He won the toss and elected to kick. Just sort of going to go through and talk about a little bit about my tactics within it, what I'm trying to do, and hopefully as well point out my mistakes as I go along. This is a new build for me. I've never done the 3 catches, 2 war dancers before with 1 reroll. The idea is it gets lots of dodge within the team. Okay, let's take it away. So just finishing the setup here, just to cut off in case of a blitz. What I will be doing is trying to get some points on the team, because this is game 1. You know, you do want to win, but more importantly is actually to start to develop your team. So a high kick, I'm pretty sure I put a catcher on there. So I put this catcher over there, the one who's furthest away. It gives me more options as far as positioning goes. 2 war dancers on the line, just because I've only got 1 reroll. I don't want to burn a reroll very early, so I'd rather just have the hits with block at the start. And then before I do any hits without block, I'm covering in case it goes wrong. So they can't get through this way. And there you go, you can see both down skull. Not worth a reroll. With 1 reroll, I need to save that for when it really counts. So what is possible here is, as the Necro coach, you've got some speed here, haven't you, with the wolf. So you can push down this side, put a bit of pressure on, and possibly kind of loop around. And what you're trying to do is squash the elves in, because if you're squashing them in, it's harder for them to dodge and get away. If you, as an elf player, what you want to do is be spreading the game as wide as you can, because that allows you to sort of control the pitch. So what you'll see from Eldarin, and he did this kind of all through the game actually, is a lot of basing. So it means, because I've only got 1 reroll, what he's thinking is, if a dodge fails, then I've got a choice to make. Right? Do I use that only reroll, or do I suck it up? So you can see base, base, base. This guy, he could potentially have repositioned him and allowed the wolf to really get down and put some pressure there. Okay, and then finishing off with this hit here. No problem at all with that. Right. So what I've seen here is he's basically overcommitted over this side, really. So he's got 2 fast players here, yeah. He's got 1 is movement 6, and over here we've got a movement 6, movement 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So with my speed, if I go over here, he's going to find it harder to recover, and already he's on the back foot, and I'm in control of where the game's going. So there we go. Just coming over here. Trying to get my position in place before I roll any dice. Remove him. And that avoids the dodge here. I think I came around and blitzed this zombie, but I'm not sure. So there we go. Already starting with trying to get some SPPs on the catches. Okay, that just covers here. So even if that failed, I still had the war dance here covering that and avoiding a blitz on the ball carrier. Okay, seeing if I can take down the flesh golem as well. I'm not sure that's the best move really, because that happens. Yeah. What I could have done is started to screen down this side, Looking at this, I would imagine that's what I'm trying to do for the next turn. So what could happen here is he might go, oh, he's coming down here, what do I do? And I've got enough players over here just to sort of swing around if I need to. So you can see the continue of basing. Okay, so powered one War Dancer. Just there, luckily no armor break. And it's got another hit over here and another POW. So that is an arm break, but it's just a stun. So it's a bit frustrating for both War Dancers to go down like that. But, you know, that's the risk you take if you leave them in contact. It's a very weak foul. I'm not sure that's worth it. There's more risk of actually getting your player sent off. And you've got no assist, no dirty player. So here you go. He's swung around here. And what I've seen is maybe I can switch around the other side. So what I'm trying to do here in the first half is just sort of control it and maybe do like an 8-turn drive, one of those sorts of lines. And then in the second half when he needs to push, then I'll try to do a little bit more. I think with Wood Elves, there's a few options, isn't it? One is, I'm just checking this. One is to go for the 2-turn score and then kind of be quite aggressive and kind of push hard. Another is to try and go to quite late in the half. So again, just a stun there. So perhaps an 8-turn drive, 6, 7. You might go for a 6-turn drive and then try to push in those last 2 turns just to get like a second score. And then sort of like the game is pretty much in your hands. What you don't want to do is to be in a position where you're kind of stuck in between the two, and then you are you score in say kind of 4, because then that just gives the other team plenty of time, and you're likely to get a 2-1 grind. So you can see here more basing. So it means that I'm having to rely quite a lot on these 2+ dodges. Now, what is good about this build is I have 5 players with dodge built in, so pretty much half the team already have dodge. So here comes the wolf. And you can see that it's just sort of going from side to side where he's moving the pressure in, and then I can just sort of switch back again. And eventually that leaves gaps because I'm the faster team, and I think this is the moment where I can push down this side. So just a handoff here, because this is quite a key moment, because if I can get down here with a good screen, then I'm well in control of the game. I was also aware of the amount of basing that was going on. So you can see that mainly I try and do my dodges with dodge skill first. Okay. And War Dancer doing War Dancer things. So my team is all here. He's all here. Horribly out of position now. So what do you do as a Necro coach to stop this? There isn't much. All you can do is come in and put a lot of pressure on. So that's what he's doing. So he's coming in here. And that, right. So I'm just going to stop that there. Now, I don't know why he pushed this way at all. I think that was a complete error. He should have pushed here, and then he's got 1 assist, and I've got 1 assist, so it'd be a 1 die. In the end, he took the both down, and the werewolf rolled an injury. He regens here, but it's just a little thing like that can really kind of swing a match. Okay, there he is. Wolfie is back, and I just took a stun. Now, though I said like kind of a long drive is better, what's happened here is I might have pushed too soon, really, because now I'm quite narrow as well. I've got nowhere really to go, so I think I might have had to go in and score, which gives them too many turns really. I might have been able to stall for 1 more turn. Yes. So what I probably should have done, I don't know if I did this now. Okay, that catcher should have been going over here. Yeah. Okay, let's just pause that. Right, 1 minute. Right. So the catcher could have dodged out and gone over here. So from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere like that, because then that gives me options to come around this side and kind of get a bit of a screen in place. At the moment, I'm still far too narrow and I'm being squashed against the sidelines, and he's got a frenzy player right here. So it's pretty awful to be in that sort of position. Yeah, not good. Here, this guy had to kind of go for it as well. Just trying to sort of cover that. What I wanted was this wolf can come around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's two dice into 1 die. Isn't awful. 3 dice to look for a pal. If this guy was in place, if he comes around here, that'd be 2 dice into 2 dice. My choice. Yeah, and even if that's then a push, it's reasonably straightforward for me to surf him. But 1 reroll left. I'm aware that I'm probably looking at scoring the next turn, so that means I'm going to need the reroll, perhaps for repositioning, perhaps for hitting the ball. Let's just take them off so we can see what's going on. Okay, so he's just sort of moving his players in. Now, I'm not sure about that. The option with that is, I guess, to put more pressure on and bait, and he's going to bring him round here, which is, I don't know, what I saw here was the opportunity for a surf straight away. Yep. So I've got this fella here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 2 dice there, and then I can just dodge through and surf the wolf. Because I'm so narrow, I can't screen. So I was thinking, surf the wolf and then score. We'll see what happens. So there I go. So unfortunately, that was a knockdown, which is always the way, eh? So here I could pop him in there, but I decided it's best just to score at that point because I think I was sort of pushing my luck a little bit. So really, I mean, not a bad drive. Swung from side to side. I got a bit lucky without them not removing any elves, but then my main error was I went too narrow down the sideline, and that forced the early score for me. Okay, so he's still on 2 rerolls. He's now got 3 turns. It's not bad for Necro. With the Wolves, that's absolutely possible. But you'll see in a moment how he protects the ball. Right, just an off-centre. It's just, it gives a little bit more space on the pitch, and as Wood Elves, that's what you want. You want to be exploiting any little pockets of space. You want to kind of control it so that you can decide where the ball's going. So with this, he needs to do hits here, which means that then if the ball comes up here, he can't advance too easily. Here, this is just a pretty standard column defense in place. At this point, 3 turns, you don't need to be too aggressive with us. You're 1 up. So really all you need to do is to slow him down while giving an option that you can escape if he pushes too hard and fails something. So you can see here, he's obviously focusing down this side. Like he's got none of his hitters over here. He's just got some zombies, probably to base up. Both teams get an extra reroll. So the ball's gone that side as well. He's covering the ball. That's always a good play, especially against Elves. Just cover the ball just in case something goes wrong, so they can't just come in and get the ball really easily. He's got 1 block piece here. So if he was to start blocking here, that's a 1 die. So you should always start with your block getting 2 dice. And he's got 1 just off. But that could be for blitzing, which would be fine. So instead he starts with the fleshy. That can very easily fail. So no block. So both downs, skulls, that happens. Reroll's then gone, and you've still got to pick up the ball on a 3+. So really, this white, if this white was here, he could start hitting across, because I understand why he's doing it like that, because he wants to maximise the blocks. But having the white on the edge like that doesn't quite make sense. The only reason you might do that is if you're trying to push up very quickly because you've only got a few turns. But if that's the case, you would have both whites up here, hit 1 there, then you can move up and come and push down here and back it up with the Wolves. And you probably, if that's your plan, you don't need this amount of men over the other side. You maybe 1, 2, maybe, just to block that off in case there's a blitz, and the other one can come down here to offer support. So not the best blocking going on here. So I think the blitz must be coming here. It makes sense for it to come to the catcher, push that catcher here. You know, it's impossible to stop me coming around though. Okay, so instead he's just gone for this guy here. Unfortunate with more pushes, but this is so slow, it's unlikely that he's going to score in 3 turns. And then just, right, this is not good. Okay, for me as a Wood Elf coach, I can easily get this ball. I've got a catcher on the side here who wasn't hit. We can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I can take a War Dancer, leap over the top. Bearing in mind I've got 2 rerolls, it's only a 3+, and then I get 2 dice on the ball, and then I can just swamp. So that will give me a good chance of scoring in my turn 8, making it 2-0, and then the game is pretty much done at that point. Like, it's unlikely, without any removals as well, that the Necro are then going to make a comeback from there. So if I'm going to do that, what I should be doing is put some other players in range. So next turn I've got options. So this is some basing. It's quite aggressive. So I'm basing both of these zombies with catchers. Need a power to knock me down, but I'm giving away those 2 die blocks. But it just means that they're positioning, they're both in range, and it asks questions of my opponent. What are you going to do here? Where's your blitz going to go? All these sorts of things. And because I'm making it about the ball, they can't move forward. So here comes the leap. No problem. And straight in. Okay, just a push and a pow. Right. So that's a lucky hit, right? Dead. I think he regens again, which is good. You know, it's fresh teams. You don't necessarily want to have dead werewolves because that team is sort of broken. This is from a tournament as well. And what they like 110. You know, that would be a real shame. But it was very easy for me to get in there. I'm looking at this as well. You'll see in a minute. I'm reasonably happy with this positioning. I've got my War Dancer to sort of cover here. So even if they retrieve the ball and try and send this player down, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is basically the only opportunity for scoring, and it's another white. I've got enough players just around here just to sort of cover it, which means I can be a bit more aggressive here. So the ball scatters, and I'm thinking if I get that ball on the War Dancer, then that's a score, because it's going to be very hard for them to knock the War Dancer down and retrieve the ball. Okay, so Wolf regens, and the ball goes there. Unfortunately, I rolled a 1 on it, and I've already used the reroll on the hit, but I'm okay with that. So what Eldarin decides to do at this point is just jam loads of players in there, make it really hard for me to get at that ball, and then the following turn is just, well, you'll see, but it's quite elf bullshit, really. So he's got 5 players around the ball at the moment. Okay. So there we go. So that was a skull, both down into double skulls. It was unfortunate dice, but what he's done well is he's protected the ball. So what I'm thinking is I need to get a push onto the ball somehow, and then hopefully I get a good scatter and I can get the ball to one of these catchers around here. But it's quite tricky to do that. Here we go. So I rolled quite a lot of dice this turn. I probably wouldn't usually do that because I'd be more keen to protect my team, because there's a lot here that could go wrong, and with AV7 players can die quite easily. But because it's a fun tournament, I thought let's just have a go and see what happens. Okay, So there's the reroll. That's gone, and then block. So it's not it's not looking great for retrieving that ball. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is this catcher could potentially get the ball and come around here, pass over the zombie, catch here. But in order to do that, I need to clear this white, was my thinking, so I can remove one tackle zone from both the dodge and the pickup, and that would make it 5s. I don't fancy the 6s. Now, in order to do that, I need to get a catcher to cancel this off. So that's a 4+ dodge. That's 75%. It's not bad. Okay. At that point, I thought, well, I could do a 1 die and hope for a push, but it's a 1 in 6 chance of a skull. I didn't fancy it too much, especially as it's a war dancer. So if the war dancer goes down and gets injured, that's a real problem. I thought a better option was to bring this guy up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 go for it. Which went like this. Got the push that I needed, and then here comes some big dice. Okay, 3+ pass, 3+ catch for catch. Use the catch reroll and run it in. So complete nonsense play, but good fun. It's what Wood Elves do, isn't it? Okay, so 2-0 going into the second half. I'm feeling like this game is very much in control. Zombie stays knocked out, so he's on 10. I think I'm still on 11, so I'm men up against Necro. I'm 2 up as well. So unless something drastically changes, I'm looking good for this win. So what I'm doing is just setting up just in case he kind of one turns with the wolves. So making sure that all 3 of these have no SPPs as well. Like, it wasn't a huge SPP game, but it's a good habit just to sort of double check that while you set up, because otherwise it's very easy just to leave like a 3 SPP guy or 5 SPP guy on the line, and then they get injured, and where they could have got a level, maybe kind of some dodge or block or wrestle or whatever, and it's gone. So more pushes, not the best block dice, still no removals as well. So this is looking like a foul on a line elf. No, it's a solid foul, but it's only a line elf. You know, luckily he got the injury, but he is also sent off as well. It's very easy. That could have been a stun, that could have been a knockout, and he's straight back, and you've lost a player. I'm not sure that's the best, but I think that can happen when you feel a little bit frustrated with how things are going, and you're not removing elves, and you're like, oh, come on, they're OV7. Right. And that's the end of the turn and a half. The other thing that he misses out on there is the chance at like kind of SPP. So like I said at the beginning, these are fresh teams, so you want to be kind of build them up. Even if you just have 1 SPP on the positional, MVP lands them, that's a skill. Always worth doing. So for me there, I would have gone for the pass, and I probably wouldn't have failed, but if you really want to fail, do the pass first, then the foul. Okay, so just a setup that protects the war dancers. With the catchers, because I've got 3 on the pitch, it's going to be very hard to protect them. So I just put them out there where they can actually have a bit of manoeuvrability. Yep, they're on the edge. So depending on what happens here, they can loop round both sides, possibly even if they need to sort of dodge down this sideline and come around here and apply some pressure to the ball. If you look at there's a kick there, it's very deep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's about here. Even with go for it, it's only here. It's very deep, and I've got the speed to really kind of press them. Plus, it's a very risky pickup, so you might need to do that earlier in the turn rather than doing blocks without the block skill. So really, he needs to kind of move back for some protection, and then I'll be looking for a weak point to come in and try to flood around and try to split them. Finally gets a removal. So he's trying to block off my routes here. Again, sort of like more basing, hoping that one of my dodges fails, something along those sorts of lines. And he's blitzing through here. Right. Before the ball is even secure, he's starting to take hits without block. This fails, and it's a turnover. I can just blitz this zombie off and flood them through here. And I can go round here, dodge away or dodge through. It gives me lots of options. It really needs to protect the ball more before doing this. And he continues with the hits. So on this occasion, it wasn't a problem. Yeah, it worked out. Okay, failed the pickup. Reroll. So that has to be a reroll, because if that goes off, that can go anywhere and it's wide open. Okay, so what we have here is his team is kind of here, slow players, and the ball's here. So I'm thinking, can I get at this wolf? Yeah, because if I can get that wolf and get some players sort of around here, it makes it very hard for him. Now, even if he then comes up past over my head or manages to get the ball to one of these whites and runs down here, I can come back and just put a lot of pressure on. I'm already 2-0 up. I don't mind if he scores quickly. I get the ball back and I should be able to throw in a third. Let's see what I did. Okay, so I've seen this as a way through. Lose one of their block. Okay, got the PAL. Lovely. Lose one of their block, lose one of their faster players as well. And then I see the wolf as kind of the link player. So I'm doing my best to make that not an option. So double basing. And then I'm starting to build a screen to try to stop his route through, so that next turn I can hit the ball and then kind of run away. You can see, okay, so you can see the catchers are in advanced position. So all of these are in scoring range. So if someone does have on the ball, I quickly give the ball to one of them, and away you go, and it's free. That was a bit unfortunate, failing that dodge there, but with one reroll, it's just not worth it. What might have been a good idea would be just to sort of actually sacrifice that elf a little bit and tie up one of these golems. Okay, so an injury as well, which doesn't help matters. One of the reasons why it might have been decent to tie up the golems is what I've seen him doing is blocking a lot with the golems. Yeah, and often that's before other things have happened. Now, obviously, you do want to skill up the golems, and AV7 is a good opportunity to get some injuries, get some SPPs. It's just about the order. You just need to think about the order you're doing things in a little bit more sometimes. Now, what could happen here is he's only got one reroll, but he might need to almost like blitz the catcher off and then hand off on a 4 and dodge through it and try and make it reasonably safe around here, like a cage of some sort. But to be honest, there aren't many good options. I've got a war dancer here who covers any kind of potato plays. I've got a screen in front. These are kind of just out of the game completely. Stunned white. So really all they've got is this and need to find a way to get the ball through. I think what might have happened is he might have gone for the pass play to the right. Okay, so he's doing more base in here, and okay, so he's tried to remove the war dancer, got the POW, got a knockout as well. And then trying for the catcher as well. Okay, just a couple of pushes. Okay, so as soon as I see this, I'm thinking, how can I get at that wolf? Now, one way I could get at that wolf would be a 3+ here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's 2 dice. Yeah, so a 3+ with dodge to an easy 2 dice block. Now, and maybe the ball goes somewhere around here, and I can sort of come in over here. It's a little while since I played this game. I can't quite remember, but that'd be my guess. I'd probably dodge here, come around here, hit him, hope the ball pops loose, and maybe I might then come in, retrieve the ball, try and get the ball to this catcher somehow. Okay, another double skulls. Unfortunate. The Necro block dice have not been good this game. Okay, so bring him round first of all. Okay. So instead, I did the go for it to get the assist that way, and then I'm trying to push up here, and I guess what I'm thinking is one of these catchers can then just get the ball and run away. Let's see what happens. Okay, got the POW to there. Okay, not a good scatter. So I'm just trying to sort of screen off these guys a little bit, and then 3+, 3+, and away. Okay, right. I thought about bringing him through for the 3+, 2+, and do a little screen, because this white was still in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll go for it for the hit, block, and 2 dice. I didn't fancy that, so I think I just ran it in with a couple of go for it's. And I thought, well, that's worth a reroll. Even if it fails, that'll make it 3-0. In the end, I didn't need a reroll, and yeah. Okay, the zombie comes back. So I'm now down a couple of men here, and both of my knockouts stayed in the knockout box. So I'm on 7 players, which isn't great. So then I'm probably thinking, oh, bit damage limitation at this point. I've got 3 linemen and everyone else is positionals. This can quickly snowball. Luckily, it didn't happen until quite late in the game. but I don't fancy a defense like this. I didn't do the off centre because there's no point, because I don't have enough men to capitalise on it. What I'm trying to do is just sort of spread them out and spread their team out so that my lack of players does not affect the game too much. Okay, so again, white is better position than it was very early in the game, just to get some hits in. Got another knockout down to 6. So without a load of dice, it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to recover the ball at this point. So we'll just see what happens. Oh, whoops. So a lot of pressure, no way through. Double skulls. So I think that's the 3rd double skulls he's rolled. Yeah, that's above odds. Then comes the wolf. Drops it. So that bit where I said I don't see it being very easy for me to get the ball, that got my elf senses sort of tingling a little bit, and I'm thinking, oh, actually these dice have been really kind to me all this game. I've still got a re-roll, maybe I can get in there. So I'll just have a quick look there. If I just blitz him off and leap over and then come through and then maybe escape a little bit and then try and get some catches around there, dodging through tackle zones, that sort of thing, then there might be a possibility of a 4th. And on the 4th touchdown as well, I've got 3 knockouts. Potentially they could all come back and it looks very different. Okay, there we go, got the ball, run away. Now this is bringing the catcher in. There we go. Now I want another catcher around there if possible. You know, it's a bit cheeky, isn't it? But it's just been that sort of game. I think the key, right, the key with Wood Elves is almost knowing when to push. It's a very hard thing to sort of quantify. You just sort of kind of can feel it, I suppose. And this match has been one where it's felt like I can push quite hard, quite a lot. It's also 1000 TV. I'm more inclined to do that. I feel I'm kind of less attached to my players, maybe, or there's less at stake in it, especially in like kind of a fun tournament like this. Even if the team dies, I'm not too bothered. But I'll be doing another video, which is my UK BBL team, and that is a high TV team. They're in the top tier there, so you'll see some differences in how I play there. I might try and protect some players a little bit more, and I might have kind of sort of more ebb and flow to those games where I'm kind of assessing it a little bit more and thinking, where can I push and where can't I? Now you notice he's got no rerolls, and his first move there was a werewolf dodge. Not sure that's the best move, but it worked on this occasion, and I think he manages to get the ball free because of it. But it's very risky. Like, no one else has been moved. There are some safe moves here that could have happened beforehand. The whole play does not rely on that dodge happening. That's the only time you would start with a dodge like that with no rerolls, is if how your play is going to develop is completely affected by what happens from that dodge. So these players, for example, could have moved in first. So even if that dodge had failed, I'd still be based. So all of these. So this is good positioning though. I mean, it makes it hard for me to escape potentially. And the decision is who to blitz with. Do you blitz with block, or do you blitz with the frenzy but no block, with no rerolls? For me, I'm a safer player, I suppose, so I would go with the block. I would even consider bringing this wolf round here beforehand to make it harder to escape. In he goes, gets the power. Exactly what he wanted. Stun as well. And then the wolf can come round and collect the ball. Okay, from there I have got my catchers on the pitch and 2 linemen who are basically on the floor. So there isn't really too much chance of getting the ball, but I was still going for it. I was dodging around here and then dodging around here for 1 die just to get the ball on the floor. You know, no re-rolls, fails a pick up. No, it's worth a shot. Unfortunately that dodge failed, but I can't really complain considering the amount of dodging I've done in this game. Okay, fail the War Dancer, knock out the War Dancer. Now there's not much threat at all on the ball. I am down to, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 players. So there's not going to be a defence here. Another knockout. So then it starts to snowball, doesn't it? When you're down so many players, it's much harder to protect them, and you suffer more hits, which means you get more dice rolled against you, which means that you just die a lot more. Like, a bit unfortunate. 1 minute. Okay, so that was unfortunate that dodge failed, but this flesh golem needs a POW to get him. What I could have done is blitz this player, hopefully knock him down, and then I can sort of reposition here a bit, so I could still get a bit of a threat on the ball for next turn. It's just another thing that my opponent would have to think about, rather than doing this and then I'm out of position. So all he has to do is sort of push down here, and there's nothing I can do about it. So you can see he's just sort of bullying me here with his number of players. Hardly fair, is it? But there you go. The game is over. Not much I can do. I think there might have been, there's another foul coming. Might have been an element of me just sort of leaving some players out of position at this point. No, and again, just because it's a fun tournament, I think I still try to get a hit on the ball, because it's got no block. It's not too bad, just dodge into it on a 4+. Here we go. I used the dodge skill there, unfortunately. Still went for it. Got the skull, but not dead. So I was perfectly happy with that result. So I've left these on the floor. Yeah, he might foul again, but there's not not the highest chance of receiving a perm from a foul with no dirty player or anything like that. You know. Right. So that's me again trying to go for the ball, potentially knock him down, knock him into the corner, and the ball goes over here, something, and it just prevents the score. And I prefer 3-0 to 3-1. Wasn't to be this time. I've rolled enough elf dice already. Okay, just runs it in. 3-1. Depending on knockouts, maybe set up for 1 turn. Only 2 comes back. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not really enough for a 1 turn, I don't think. Perhaps with a quick snap or something like that is possible. It's very hard with that amount of players, and you've got kind of stand firm on the line as well. So those bits anyway. What I was thinking here was there might be something possible if I can get the ball, get him up to there and hand off, and then I could blitz here, push him here, push him into him, to him, into there, and I think there was like another push that I needed to maybe get someone in there, and then sort of do it through this guy. I can't quite remember. I seem to think that there was a chance, so I was going to go for it, but the blitz just meant that wasn't going to happen, and and that sort of wrapped the game up. So it was like kind of solid 3-1 win. The main problem with it was this guy down here. So he scored 9 SPPs. So it wasn't spread very well. He's just covering there just to make sure that those players aren't hit, because he is seeing them as the important players. So from there, I couldn't 1 turn anymore. So let's just take some hits. Move a receiver there. And that ended the game. Okay, so yeah, just an initial 1000 TV game there in the tournament that's not that important. So I played it a bit like I would play a tabletop match, where I can push quite hard and not worry too much about my players, really. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Let's just stop that recording. Thanks.